Jinger Duggar details wild visit to family's home in Arkansas. Jinger Duggar recently opened up about her latest visit to her family's home in Arkansas, describing the experience as wild in ways that both surprised and amused her followers. The reality television star, known for her role on the TLC series 19 Kids and Counting On, has shared various moments of her life after relocating to California with her husband Jeremy Vuolo. However, her return to Arkansas generated attention as she spoke candidly about what it was like to reconnect with her large family after months of living far away. Jinger's use of the word wild drew curiosity among fans, prompting discussions and reactions across social media. Many longtime viewers of the Duggar family reality shows were eager to learn more about what made the visit so memorable, especially considering the lifestyle differences between her current residence in Los Angeles and her upbringing in rural Arkansas. During an interview and through her own statements, Jinger offered a thorough breakdown of what occurred during her time back home. She shared insights into family dynamics, changes in her siblings' lives, and her own reflections on being part of such a large and unique family. While she didn't intend to criticize or mock, she acknowledged the contrasting values and routines that often arise when she visits. According to Jinger, one of the most noticeable aspects of her visit was the sheer volume of activity that constantly took place in the Duggar home. She mentioned that with so many younger siblings and nieces and nephews running around, the household had a constant buzz of energy. From early morning routines to late-night conversations, every moment was filled with noise, movement, and interaction. This was quite different from the quieter lifestyle she now leads in California, where she lives with just her husband and daughters. Jinger pointed out that the pace of life in her parents' home hadn't slowed down. Despite the fact that many of her siblings are now married and have moved out, there are still enough people in the household to create a very full environment. She noted how the rhythm of daily life there remains centered around shared meals, group activities, and tight schedules. This atmosphere, while familiar, felt especially intense after being away for some time. She also highlighted how different parenting styles came into play during the visit. Jinger and Jeremy have adopted more relaxed and flexible approaches to parenting and education for their children, which contrasts with the more structured, traditional methods her parents practiced and continue to promote. This difference wasn't a point of conflict, but it was one of many aspects that made her experience feel wild compared to her new norm. One of the more lighthearted parts of her visit involved the sheer number of people she had to catch up with. Between siblings, in-laws, and a growing number of nieces and nephews, Jinger shared that remembering everyone's names, ages, and current life updates was a challenge. She mentioned that she made an effort to sit down with as many family members as possible, hearing about their work, school, relationships, and personal goals. Jinger acknowledged that visiting home also brought up many memories from her own childhood and teenage years. Being in the same rooms where she grew up reminded her of past routines, family traditions, and key moments in her upbringing. Though she has taken a different path in adulthood, she expressed appreciation for the foundation she received in Arkansas. The visit wasn't just about nostalgia. Jinger also spoke about how some conversations with her family touched on deeper subjects, including her shift in beliefs and lifestyle since leaving Arkansas. She confirmed that while her relationship with her parents and siblings remains strong, there are areas where they respectfully disagree. She explained that her family remains committed to their long-held religious values, while she and Jeremy have made adjustments based on their own study and interpretation of Scripture. Despite these differences, Jinger emphasized that there was no hostility or tension during the trip. Instead, there was a mutual understanding that each family member is on their own journey. She described moments of genuine bonding, shared laughter, and emotional support throughout the visit. She appreciated the opportunity to be back in a familiar place and see firsthand how her family continues to evolve. She also noted that she was struck by how mature and independent some of her younger siblings had become. Several of them are now entering adulthood, starting careers, or considering marriage. Jinger expressed admiration for their growth and mentioned how surreal it was to see them taking on responsibilities that once seemed far off. On a practical level, Jinger also had to adapt to certain household rules and traditions that are still in place at her parents' home. These include shared chores, strict meal schedules, and modest dress codes, which are a staple of the Duggar household. While these didn't pose major issues, she acknowledged that it took a little time to readjust to those expectations after living in a different environment. One of the most talked about aspects of the visit was the inclusion of cameras and public attention. Even though the original counting on show has ended, public interest in the Duggar family remains high. Jinger revealed that during her visit, there were occasional moments when she was recognized by people in the area or approached for photos and questions. She handled these encounters with grace, but admitted that the attention added another layer of unpredictability to the experience. Fans also speculated about whether any future television projects or interviews might come from the visit. Jinger clarified that while she remains open to public dialogue about her life, there are no immediate plans for a new show or major media project involving the entire family. However, she continues to work on her writing, speaking engagements, and collaborative efforts with her husband. Throughout the visit, Jinger also took time to reflect on how much her life has changed since moving to California. She talked about the cultural contrasts, the shift in pace, and the different priorities that have shaped her adult life. Being back in Arkansas served as a reminder of where she came from, but also reinforced her commitment to building a life that aligns with her personal beliefs and values. She was particularly grateful for the opportunity to let her children experience time with their extended family. Her daughters, she said, were delighted by the attention from their cousins and enjoyed the open space, group playtime, and home-cooked meals. Jinger viewed this as an important experience for them to better understand their roots. Toward the end of her visit, Jinger took time for quiet reflection. She expressed appreciation for the warmth of her family, the love they continue to show her, and the support they offer even when perspectives differ. She made it clear that maintaining those bonds remains a top priority, and she will continue to stay connected as much as possible, even from a distance. In recounting the visit, Jinger struck a tone of honesty and balance. She didn't overstate the differences or sugarcoat the realities, but instead portrayed the experience as multifaceted and full of meaning. Her reflections served as a testament to the complexity of family relationships, particularly in a large household where individual paths often diverge. As for the word wild, Jinger clarified that she used it affectionately. It wasn't a critique, but rather a reflection of the overwhelming energy, variety, and unpredictability that defined her visit. From the chaos of family meals to spontaneous games, deep conversations, and surprising changes, every moment added a new layer to her understanding of what it means to come home. In the days following her visit, Jinger received a wave of messages from fans expressing support and curiosity. Many appreciated her openness and the way she articulated the experience without sensationalism. Some related to the challenges of balancing personal change with family loyalty, while others simply enjoyed hearing about life inside the Duggar home from her perspective. Looking ahead, Jinger expressed hope for continued dialogue with her family and her supporters. She reaffirmed her belief in open communication, mutual respect, and the importance of giving one another space to grow. Whether in Arkansas or California, she remains committed to staying true to her values while honoring her roots. In conclusion, Jinger Duggar's detailed account of her wild visit to her family's home in Arkansas offered a window into the realities of reconnecting with a large and dynamic family after time apart. It underscored the enduring bonds that tie family members together, even when lifestyles and beliefs evolve. Her reflections highlighted a journey marked by change, growth, and the continued pursuit of love and understanding across generational and geographical divides. Jana Duggar, a member of the well-known Duggar family, once featured on the reality series 19 Kids and Counting On, is once again making headlines as fans and critics respond to her recent activity during a visit home to Arkansas. The latest wave of online backlash follows a social media post showing Jana attending a rodeo during her trip, with many followers expressing disappointment, concern, or outright criticism regarding the event's implications, particularly regarding animal treatment and lifestyle choices. This direct script covers the public reaction, commentary, and implications from the incident in a factual and neutral manner, reflecting the wide range of fan commentary without injecting editorial bias or interpretation. Jana Duggar's visit home to Arkansas was met with both support and criticism from fans and observers. Her attendance at a local rodeo became a major point of discussion online after images and videos of the event surfaced on social media. While some fans praised her for enjoying traditional Southern activities and maintaining ties to her roots, others condemned her choice, labeling it insensitive and harmful. The rodeo itself, a long-standing American tradition, has often faced scrutiny from animal welfare advocates. Jana's presence at such an event sparked renewed debates about values, personal ethics, and public responsibility. Several online users commented that they were surprised by Jana's decision, given her relatively private lifestyle and past image as the more reserved and grounded Duggar sibling. One follower stated, "She always seemed like the quiet one, the one who stayed out of the spotlight, but now she's choosing to attend something so controversial." This sentiment was echoed by other commenters who found the choice out of step with what they previously believed about her personal views. In particular, the animal rights angle became a focal point for critics. Several posts across platforms like Instagram, Reddit, and formerly Twitter featured individuals describing rodeos as torture or animal abuse. One user posted, "It's such torture to watch animals being forced into pain for entertainment. I can't believe someone with a platform would endorse this." These responses were amplified by advocacy groups and users who shared infographics and reports on animal treatment in rodeos. Though Jana did not actively promote or defend the event, her attendance alone was sufficient to ignite a wide-reaching discussion. Others expressed disappointment that Jana would associate with events some consider cruel, particularly given her influence as a public figure and her upbringing in a high-profile family. With everything going on in the world, how can someone in the public eye still support events like this? One comment read, "Some users also referenced past controversies involving other members of the Duggar family and used this occasion to draw broader judgments about the family's values." However, not all responses were critical. A significant number of fans and supporters defended Jana's actions, arguing that attending a rodeo does not necessarily imply support for animal cruelty. Many pointed out that rodeos are a cultural tradition in parts of the United States and are often attended for social or nostalgic reasons rather than political endorsement. One fan wrote, "People go to rodeos for the atmosphere, for the sense of community. Not everyone who goes agrees with everything that happens there." Others emphasized the importance of context and suggested that the online reaction was disproportionate. Still, the critical voices continued to shape the dominant narrative online, with several prominent fan forums and social commentary accounts reposting the content and fueling ongoing discussions. In these spaces, users debated the ethics of animal-based entertainment and questioned whether public figures like Jana Duggar have a responsibility to be more mindful of their appearances and activities. Some users drew attention to similar past controversies involving celebrities, suggesting that there is growing intolerance for participation in events seen as unethical or outdated. Interestingly, the backlash also sparked a renewed examination of Jana's lifestyle and public choices over the years. Known for her role as the eldest Duggar daughter still living at home well into adulthood, Jana has often been portrayed as dutiful and traditional. Over time, as she's taken trips and posted more sporadically on social media, speculation about her personal beliefs and values has increased. Her presence at a rodeo added to that speculation, with some followers suggesting it represented a shift in her personal identity or independence. In fan forums dedicated to the Duggar family, users debated whether Jana was acting of her own volition or still following family expectations. Some argued that the event was likely a family outing, common in their hometown, and not necessarily a personal endorsement of the rodeo culture. Others viewed it as a sign that Jana may be more aligned with traditional conservative rural values than some had hoped or assumed. Another layer of criticism came from users who tied the incident to broader discussions about the responsibilities of influencers and public personalities. With over 700,000 followers on Instagram alone, Jana is seen by some as a lifestyle influencer, whether intentionally or not. Critics questioned whether someone with such a platform should make more thoughtful choices about which events they attend, particularly in an era where animal welfare and social responsibility are hot-button topics. One animal advocacy group shared Jana's photo at the rodeo with a caption urging influencers to avoid promoting events that involve animal distress. While Jana did not actively promote the event, her passive presence was interpreted by some as an implicit endorsement. In response, several users called for more education about the realities of such events and encouraged celebrities to use their platforms more consciously. Despite the criticism, there has been no formal response from Jana Duggar or her representatives regarding the controversy. Her social media accounts remained unchanged following the backlash, and no statements or clarifications were issued. This silence, in turn, became a topic of debate itself. Some fans interpreted it as a sign of disregard or indifference, while others argued that the matter didn't warrant a public response. Among the more neutral observers, there were calls for more balanced perspectives. Some users highlighted that people's attendance at cultural events does not necessarily indicate endorsement of every aspect of those events. A few even expressed concern that the growing tendency to shame individuals for perceived missteps might stifle open dialogue or lead to unnecessary polarization. "This kind of pile-on doesn't help anyone," one comment read. "People are allowed to have different values and make different choices. Let's not assume the worst every time." There were also debates about whether the criticisms were rooted in legitimate ethical concerns or driven by a pre-existing bias against the Duggar family. Over the years, various members of the Duggar family have faced criticism for different reasons, including legal issues, cultural views, and social media posts. Some users believe the rodeo backlash is less about animal rights and more about continuing public resentment toward the family's conservative background. In contrast, animal rights advocates maintained that their concerns were genuine and consistent across public figures, regardless of background. They stressed the importance of using every opportunity to educate the public on issues related to animal welfare, and argued that accountability is necessary regardless of a celebrity's intent or profile. The discourse around Jana Duggar's rodeo visit also tapped into larger cultural shifts regarding entertainment, animal rights, and the expectations placed on influencers. With growing awareness of ethical consumption and media responsibility, public figures are increasingly being scrutinized for their personal choices. The divide in opinion shows that there is no clear consensus on what constitutes responsible behavior in the public eye, especially when it comes to complex cultural traditions. As the conversations continued, the incident became a flashpoint for broader debates, not only about Jana Duggar's personal choices, but also about what society expects from those in the limelight. Some users called for grace, suggesting that education and understanding should come before condemnation. Others insisted that the issue demanded public accountability, especially from someone with a substantial following. In conclusion, Jana Duggar's appearance at a rodeo during her visit home to Arkansas ignited a range of reactions, from harsh criticism to loyal defense. While some saw it as a cultural norm or personal moment of nostalgia, others perceived it as an endorsement of an outdated and cruel tradition. The incident underscores the complicated relationship between public figures and their followers, as well as the growing scrutiny surrounding ethical behavior and social responsibility in the age of online visibility. Despite the polarized reactions, one fact remains clear: public figures, especially those with long-standing associations with controversial families or belief systems, will continue to face intense scrutiny for their choices, intentional or otherwise. Whether Jana Duggar responds or not, the incident has become another chapter in the ongoing public conversation about values, ethics, and the evolving role of celebrity in shaping cultural norms.